Hello, welcome to Bloodhaus, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkel.
And I'm your mysteriously alive yet dead twin, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome to another week of Bloodhaus.
That one was pretty attenuated. We
It's
are joined.
early.
Yes, it's early. We are joined by a very special guest today. He is an editor, a former lexicographer. Is that the right way to say that?
Yes, it is.
Okay, just shooting in the dark here. And the submissions coordinator for the Salem Horror Festival, a fest that I love deeply. It's Steve Kleinedler. Hi, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate this. I love this podcast dearly.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
Mm-hmm. We're so excited to have you on.
Thank you.
So talk to us a little bit about Salem Horror Fest and what your role is there.
Right. I started a couple years ago just as one of the screeners. There's a lot of screeners who screen all the movies because you don't want just a handful of people seeing them. And over the course of time, I somehow became the submissions coordinator. So I end up watching. As the coordinator, I watch all of the submissions, and there are hundreds of them each year. And then I'm responsible for parceling them out to the panel of people who watch them. And the Film Freeway, of course, does a really good job with tabulation. And then I meet with the other producers, and we look at the tabulations. And from that, we create the schedule. So it's a lot of time, but it's a lot of fun because I get to see a lot of movies. On the downside, I sometimes see some bangers that I really want to talk about with people, but I can't until 8 or 9 or 10 months later after the schedule goes live.
And that includes the features, right?
Not that just includes like the features as well. Yes. So it's several hundred hours of footage that I'm watching each year. It's really I really enjoy doing it. The festival founder, Kay Lynch, stepped down from production duties this year very amicably. She's still working with us. She's an advisor, but all of the former people who worked on the production are now basically running the show. So it's more work this year, but it's a lot of fun. We're already securing the venues and some of the speakers and whatnot. And that'll be end of April, beginning of May next year. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I had a short at Salem Horror Fest year before last, and I went out for it. And I had a great time. I was really impressed by the community that surrounded the festival. I was really impressed by the organization. The kindness and generosity of the audiences there. Salem itself, of course, is amazing. So, I mean, I love that festival. I would recommend anyone go. Of course, submit your work, but also just go as a viewer if you're in the area.
Thank you. And that's, of course, where you and I met briefly in the lobby after the screening of your short, which I loved.
Thanks. I also got to meet Kayla Janice there, my idol, and I completely cornered her in the lobby and went off on how much I loved her Kinky box set. And she was like, "Who is this person? Get this person away from me." Have you seen anything cool lately, Steve?
Yes, a couple of things in addition to all these movies I can't talk about. I have a friend who's a movie collector and has an immense physical library, which also includes 35 millimeter print, and he has a theater set up in his basement. And this year he's been doing films from 1984. He's shown about 100 so far. And in the past week, I've seen 2. One was Country, the Jessica Lange movie about the farm going bankrupt. Yeah, there were 3 best actresses that year, all in the farm is going bankrupt thing. That was interesting to me because it was set in Iowa in 1983, and there was only very oblique references to Reagan. Everything's going to shit, but no one's talking about why. Yeah. There was one offhanded reference to the Gipper, and then a picture of him in the bank office where their loan is going under. So that was really interesting, her and Sam Shepard. And the other one I just saw yesterday was Crimes of Passion, which I'd never seen.
Lord, that's one of my favorites.
I loved it. I loved the look. It was just, I didn't know what to expect. And everything to the music video within it that's just sort of there. Loved it.
Incredible movie.
It's absolutely amazing. I love Anthony Perkins. I love Ken Russell. It's like a huge banger. I deeply adore that movie, and it was one that when I was in college, I was a huge fan of like sleazy exploitation movies, Alfred Hitchcock and Brian De Palma, and so I was writing stuff in that vein, and I wrote a script and I was super proud of it. And then when I moved to Los Angeles, I watched Crimes of Passion for the first time on the plane, like literally script under my arm, being like, I'm excited to go out to LA and like talk to people about my writing and stuff. And on the plane, I watched Crimes of Passion, only to realize that's the script I wrote. Everything I wrote is literally in Crimes of Passion. I had to throw this out.
There's so many good lines in that. I laughed out quite frequently. I mean, it's great. And every time I see Anthony Perkins on the screen, I'm like, I can fix him. I can fix him.
Yeah. Who
He's
doesn't
such
love a
beautiful
pauper
man.
huffing priest? He's the best.
He was beautiful. I mean, sometimes I think of like the quote unquote love story between Tab Hunter and Anthony Perkins, and like, beat that, Sean Cody. How dare you? Like, you couldn't possibly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I love that movie. How about you, Drusilla?
I've been on a tear of like old 40s murder mysteries lately, but I did watch a super fun 70s Spanish vampire movie starring the like absolute screen god of Spanish horror, Paul Naschy.
Mm-hmm.
Very much the like Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi of Spain.
Interesting.
Called The Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman.
Okay, good title.
Known as The Night of Valpurgis. Valpurgis.
Valpurgis, yes.
Yeah, Valpurgis Night. It's like one in a series of the Paul Naschy werewolf movies, which I have not seen any others of. I've seen some of his vampire movies, but like there's a whole like big series in Spain of him playing a werewolf named Valdemar Daninsky. That's like apparently a really big deal. But this was like girls lost in the country on like a trip together, and then they meet him and he seems like a nice guy, and they're like on their way to do girly things at a cemetery and hang out, and they just like really want to look into this Elizabeth Bathory myth. And it like coalesces that like one of them starts to fall in love with him, only to discover he's a werewolf, and to resurrect an ancient lesbian vampire who is slowly seducing all of them and turning them into vampires. It was shockingly not as fun as I would have hoped for a movie with that setup. I think Paul Naschy's Count Dracula's Great Love is a lot more on the fun side of that. But it's super, super charming. But every time he turns into a werewolf to fight one of the vampires, it all goes exactly the same every single time, in that he's in like just like hair makeup, and he walks up to a vampire lady, she bares her fangs at him, and then he puts his arms around her throat and chokes her, and then she's gone. And then it's done. And then he has like the showdown with the big vampire lady at the end, and it's the exact same thing. He just walks up to her, chokes her, and then it's over. You're like,
I wonder what any of that has to do with Walpurgisnacht.
Isn't that one of the acts in LB's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It's also, I mean, it's like a witches' holiday. I mean, I'm sure you might know about this in Salem, but it's like the night before May Day, I think, when all of the witches are supposed to like go on a ride together somewhere. I don't remember. We did an episode about it on Sabrina.
Yeah, sure. But if you talk to Paul Naschy, Walpurgis Night is the day that the vampires have their most power and can take over the world.
That's the day the vampires have their picnic.
It just reminds me of like every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where Anthony Stewart Head gets to be like, but Buffy, this Saturday is the night of St. Vigius, which means that night the vampires will be at their most power. And it's like every season is that, and it's like, you keep making up these different nights where they have their most power. That happens a lot. Maybe they should just win?
We did that on Sabrina too, where it's like every episode is a new holiday that Sabrina hasn't heard of inexplicably.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It's hard not to do it.
It's a good writing device. What can I say?
It is a device. It's a good device.
What about you, Josh? What have you been watching?
I don't know. I'm really struggling, man. Like, nothing is really lighting my world on fire. I did finally watch this movie, I'm sure you've seen, from 1990 called Demon Wind.
Oh, I've not seen Demon Wind,
I
but
have
I
not
know
either.
of it. I really need to see it.
First of all, great cover art. Take a look.
Yeah.
It's great. It looks like an 80s pinball game, kind of. It's really fun. It's from 1990, but feels like it's from 1983. It has the worst fashion you've ever seen. It is like a really great example of a movie that is so bad that it's good. You know what I mean? So I hesitate to use that phrase because sometimes people use it against movies that are actually just good, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This is a terrible movie, but if you watch it with a group of friends like I did, it's really fun. It's your standard, like 20-somethings go to a secluded cabin for reasons that are really attenuated and strange and don't really make a lot of sense on a story level. And it's kind of like an Evil Dead ripoff mixed with a Night of the Living Dead ripoff. Like, people are being possessed by demons and sort of doing away with each other. But then, like, every time someone dies, they're swiftly replaced by like 2 new friends that are arriving late, and they're so it's like, how many people are coming to this house? It's really stupid. One person just turns into a doll for no reason at some point, and then it's never in front of everybody. This is 20 minutes into the movie, and then no one ever comments on that. It feels a little bit like Spookies or something like that, like kind of really bad, kind of homemade, but it is fun.
Great.
Yeah, you'd like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Watch it with Ivory, like maybe imbibe a little bit and watch it with Ivory, and you'll have fun. It's really stupid, but a joy. And that's really the best I've got. It's been a
bleak week.
It's been a bleak week. And I've been just telling Steve that tomorrow I am having my first colonoscopy. I don't mind sharing because of my mom. So my doctor wanted me to start early. So today I'm not allowed to eat anything. So I'm already feeling like really dizzy and starving.
Oh, no.
And all I can have all day is like broth and popsicles. And I'm getting put under for the first time in my whole life because I've never had any surgery or anything. So I have this weird fear that someone's going to film me saying silly things afterwards and put it on the internet. It'll be like, Josh after a colonoscopy. No, it's only Joel's the one picking up. He's the only one who could possibly do it. And he would never in a million years do that to me. But I just...
By the time you're picked up, you'll be coherent. It's, they have you count back to 100, you get to about 98, and suddenly you're waking up after the fact. It's the most bizarre experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. We still get to sleep. Anyway, enough about my colonoscopy. Today we are here to discuss a film that Steve has brought for us, a film that I believe neither Drusilla nor I had ever seen.
I had seen.
Oh, you had? Okay.
I've seen this movie before, yeah.
I had never seen it. I do have the novel, had not read it. It is a movie from 1972. It is adapted from the novel by Thomas Tryon of the same name. It is The Other.
Life was good to the Perrys of Pequot Landing. For 300 years, they lived in this place. The generations were rich with love, and the most beloved of all were the twins, Niles and Holland. That summer, they shared a secret life in the apple cellar, in the nursery.
So, Steve, when did you first become aware of this movie?
This was one of my gateway to horrors. When this first played on TV in the mid-'70s for the movie of the week, I was probably about 7 years old, 1974 or so. I know I had seen Willard, the rat movie at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I was probably watching the series Kolchak the Night Stalker with my mom, which was the night that my dad went bowling. As a kid, we didn't have a VCR. Obviously, this was before VCRs, and we couldn't really go. I couldn't go to R-rated movies, so my horror intake was mostly made-for-TV horror, and then movies that were played on TV. There were certain things I couldn't watch. I could read whatever I wanted, though, which is how I read. I read The Other probably around this time too. I was maybe 7 or 8 when I was reading a lot of interesting things at an early age. The Exorcist, The Omen, later on Amityville Horror. But so I had read this and I saw it, and as a child, especially one who I grew up in the cornfields west of Flint, Michigan. So the farm setting and everything really freaked me out when I saw it.
Yeah. It does look very much like a Norman Rockwell painting. This movie, which I guess is part of the point.
Yes. It's set in Connecticut, but it was filmed, of course, in
California
Hollywood somewhere.
Very clearly California. All the grass is yellow and dry. That's how you know.
And there's like rolling hills off in the distance. You're like,
yeah.
I love that. I mean, Joel, my partner, is from Indiana, we both love the show Parks and Rec. It's like a comfort watch for us, which is set in Indiana, but it has like the hills of Burbank in the background. Like the city hall is very clearly Pasadena City Hall. Same with Gilmore Girls. There's like the Burbank Mountains in the backgrounds of Stars Hollow, Connecticut.
That's one reason why I love the movie It Follows so much, because it was shot in Michigan. It looks like Michigan. I mean, it's a comfort film for me because it's like home.
What about Only Lovers Left Alive, shot in Detroit? Have you watched that?
I have not seen that, and I need to.
It's a love letter to Detroit.
Yeah, really beautiful Detroit architecture everywhere. Gorgeous movie.
Mm-hmm.
I really need to see that.
Well, I really enjoyed this movie. Right away, you get that great 70s font and that psychotic 70s flute score. I felt right at home. I did not realize. I was like,
this one.
Yeah, it's like that font looks familiar, and I realized I have the book with that font on it, and I just never read it. Drusilla, what about you? You like this movie or no?
I liked it a lot on this watch, but the first time I saw it, I was in high school. And I was just like preparing to go to college, and I was on a run of watching horror movies. And this was either like on TCM, or I think maybe someone had gifted it to me. Back when it was available to get. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching it, and I'm also from Indiana, and I have a lot of family that lives in farmland and stuff like that. And I was at a point in my life where I was like planning on moving to Chicago, and I was like going to college, and I was going to the big city, and I was leaving Indiana behind me. So, and I also have a very not unhealthy, but yes, unhealthy. I don't know, tenuous, occasionally violent relationship with a sibling.
Mm-hmm.
And so watching this movie at that age and at that time, I was like, ew, gross, and too close to home, don't care for it. And so I just kind of filed it away in the back of my mind of slow 70s horror movie, that's fine. And then recently, I hadn't thought about it in years. I was at the gym here in California. I was in Burbank. I was at the gym with my partner Ivory, and there's TVs everywhere. And it started to play The Other. And she was like, what is this? This looks awesome. And I was like, oh, that's that movie. Yeah, okay. Well, let me try and track it down, and we can watch it when we get home from the gym. And I immediately was like, oh, even the DVD is $100. Every version of it's out of print. It's not even available for rental on streaming. You can't get it on Apple or anything like that. And so I had to import an out-of-print European Blu-ray of it.
Drusilla, it's on YouTube, and I will
take this... In a VHS rip, though, let's be honest.
Yeah. I will take this opportunity to say to the listener that a link to watch it on YouTube will be in the show notes, and it's in last week's show notes as well. So,
yeah. The poster tells us to please not reveal the secret of The Other, so... We're going to.
Yes, we are going to spoil this movie.
But maybe go watch the movie first.
I will say I knew the twist from the first 30 seconds of this movie. I
Oh,
was like, oh, here's the
yeah.
twist. So it is what it is. I don't mind. I mean, I think it's fun anyway.
But
I will say, do you know who has seen this movie is the filmmaker behind Goodnight Mommy.
Oh
It's
my
like that
God.
person has definitely seen the other.
yeah.
I have things to say maybe later about Goodnight Mommy. Mm.
I cannot stand that movie.
It is
I really
honestly,
hated it.
Goodnight Mommy is one of the very few movies I have walked out on. I went with a
I didn't
friend.
finish it either. I didn't finish it either. And then we covered his movie The Lodge, which we both also hated.
So
Um,
like, I was with a friend. We left, and it turns out we left with only 10 minutes to go. And even then, we weren't mad that we left because that was 10
Yeah.
extra minutes. I'll get into why it rang not problematic, just annoying to me once we go through the.
Sure. Well, synopsis for this movie.
Sure.
Off the top of my head, it's 1935 in Connecticut on a farm. There are two little boys who are identical twins named Holland and Perry. Holland is a mischievous one. Perry is the more good-natured one.
Their last name is Perry. It's Holland
name
and
is
Niles.
Niles, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Fraser and Niles Perry live on a farm. Their dad has a dog.
Their
and he's
dad
moved
is
in with them.
recently died. Their mom is kind of a crazy shut-in. They live with their aunt and uncle and their Russian grandma, played by the iconic Uta Hagen, who I'm sure we'll talk about.
In her first film role.
She's only in like 3 movies, which is bizarre.
I also looked up. She was only 53 when she made this.
She is incredible in this.
That's
movie.
Hollywood for you.
Yeah.
You're a grandma.
Now she'd be too old to play a grandma. They'd be like, "Can we get a hotter, younger grandma?" Yeah. So Niles is very close to his Russian grandma, and they play what's called the game, which is when they basically project themselves into the consciousness of another being and see through that being's point of view, a bird, things like that. Slowly you start to realize, well, there are of course a bunch of deaths, and it seems like Holland is responsible for them, and eventually you learn that Holland is dead and that it's all the work of Niles. There's a big showdown involving a baby that's really terrifying. That's off the top of my head. Care to amend or add to that?
There's a mysterious well that the mother keeps bending over to cry at. There is a local magician in yellow face, it's the 30s, everyone, which the boys are obsessed with and are planning a magic show around. And also, John Ritter just had a baby.
Yeah.
Baby John Ritter in this movie is one of the best things about it. I love John Ritter. Pre-Three's Company John Ritter in a horror movie, sold.
The other thing is, it isn't really a slow burn because people are dying right and left throughout. I mean, it starts pretty quickly, and anyone that crosses the bad twin finds themselves dead. And some of it's not terribly gory, but it is really dreadful and horrifying, especially if you grew up playing in your grandpa's barn.
Oh yeah,
which I did. Yeah,
The first kill early on is deeply upsetting, and the way it's filmed is like almost first person POV. It's harrowing. There's a lot of children's coffins in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, which we love. The Letterboxd reviews for this are kind of all over the map. There's a lot of deep love for this, and there's a lot of people who give it like 0.5 star or 1 star and said that it's boring. I don't find this particularly boring. It is a 70s slow burn, I guess, if you're not used to this tone and pace, which I am and I like. So for me, I was just like, great, this goes down easy like a Diet Coke,
This is very much your brand of horror, Josh.
It is.
I really appreciate. I had forgotten the structure of the movie, but I did fully remember the twist of the secret of the twin boys. Shocker. But while watching it, I was very pleasantly surprised that the twist, more or less, is dealt with at the midpoint of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
then it becomes a different, like, the first half is like, what's going on? What's up with these twins? And like, are these people dying? Like, how's all this happening? And then once the twist happens, the back half, it like slows down and it becomes a lot more tense. It becomes a lot more like Hitchcockian, where you watch a guy put a barrel up and cover it with this thing, and that's important. And then you watch someone go off to the movies, and the wind picks up, and the storm starts, and you watch the lamp that's a doll get turned on in the corner, and all of these things are slowly leading up. Someone's reading the newspaper about Charles Lindbergh, like it all of these pieces start to connect, and like that portion of the movie I loved. That's like, that was all of it for me.
There's some really amazing sequences after the twin pushes his mother down the steps.
Oh,
and she
my
doesn't
God.
die, but she ends up unable to speak and in a wheelchair. And there's that scene where he's feeding her, and you see on her face that she completely gets what's going on and is powerless to do anything.
Yeah.
That's really frightening. And there's a framing shot in that, which I think they took for Goodnight Mommy, like the entire the way it's set up is in there too. The other sequence that I think is really well put together is that early on, that whole pitchfork sequence, where you just see the pitchfork sticking out of the hay. And
it blends in.
And like my grandpa had a hayloft with hay, and there was a giant rope hanging from the ceiling, and you'd go swinging on the rope onto the ground floor and land in this giant pile of hay. I mean, my siblings and I would do that all the time.
We did that too in southern Indiana. My great aunt had a farm. Yeah.
And then I remember seeing that movie, and like, it's not like I was scared of the barn after that, but I was always really cautious and a little freaked out.
Take a second look in the hay.
Yeah.
I was really hooked. I mean, of course I was hooked by the psychotic flute score and the font, but really when I hooked in is the first time that they play the game.
You would love that bird photography.
I live for this kind of shit, and I have a real kind of ghost story to tell you, if you'll indulge me, because it's exactly this. So my dad grew up on a farm in Kentucky. And when he was a little boy, he used to have these dreams that he and his grandma were flying all around the farm at night and like playing. And later, when he's still like a young adult, maybe, his grandma is dying. And like, as she's dying, she's like, "Hey, do you remember flying all around the farm?" And it turns out she remembered this too. And so it feels like this thing that he shared with his grandma, where they would like either share these dreams together where they went flying all around the farm or something. But it was exactly that in this movie. And I loved it. Yeah.
The other thing that surprised me, Uta Hagen's first line is in Russian, and it's, good day. And it's the same words as it is in Czech, which all of, my great grandparents and older family members spoke. And I think as a kid watching this, I probably didn't even clue into the fact that, this was anything out of the ordinary. It's like, this is just how your older relatives talk.
Yeah. It was really cool to see Uta Hagen. And I like Drew said, I'd never seen her act before. I did go to drama school, and every theater major in the world reads her book, Respect for Acting. She's one of the most famous acting teachers that has ever lived. She's up there with Stanislavski. And so it was really cool to actually get to see her act. And she is, in fact, extraordinary in this movie. Like, really elevates this movie.
What did you think of her creepy Russian lullaby?
I loved it. I
mean,
right? I love everything. Every time she's on screen, I'm hooked into this movie completely.
I also like her plot device in that in the first half of the movie, she's referring to the dead twin, but then she cops up to the fact, after the reveal, like, well, I was humoring you to, so that you might, get over this and everything. So there's kind of that unreliable, well, she's not the narrator, but you're
she's
right.
Like complicit.
Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's incredible in this. I think she really elevates the movie. It does have the feeling of a made-for-TV movie, which isn't, is it?
No.
This is
No, right.
20th Century Fox theatrical release, baby. From the
Yeah.
director of To Kill a Mockingbird, The Other.
Right. She's on a totally different level.
Yeah.
It was definitely in heavy rotation on like the Saturday night movie of the week or whatever. There were a lot of movies of that nature that played on TV. It definitely does feel like made for TV. I think was his next Thomas Trion's next film, Harvest Home. Was that made for TV?
I don't know. I don't know that movie at all.
Oh, Betty Davis, one of her last performances.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yes, that was made for TV.
Yeah, it's another kind of folk horror-y. I know that was one of the few things on TV I was not allowed to watch because my parents said it would be too scary. So of course I just wanted to. I ended up reading it. I don't think I've ever seen it actually.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did think of like Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, which is a made-for-TV movie from the 80s, kind of has similar vibes to this in some ways.
One I was thinking of, there's a British made-for-TV movie from the 70s that obviously I didn't grow up with, but I've seen a few times. It's called Apaches. It's like a short. It's like 26 minutes, and it's literally, it was produced by the like Office for Health and Safety in the UK, and it's about a group of kids like out in the country like playing out on farm equipment, and they're playing Apache warriors, they're having fun, and it's like they all slowly die on farm equipment from like accidents. And it's like, put up your pitchforks, don't let the kids play on the farm equipment. But it's horrifying.
That's so specific.
And they played it like to like kids in England in the 70s. I saw an interview with Edgar Wright talking about how he grew up with his brother watching that, and they're just like, oh, okay. So the country's terrifying. You could just die.
I love hyper-specific warnings like that. Like, if you're a child of the 80s, so many special episodes of TV shows were about kids getting caught inside of old refrigerators. And it's like, how much is this happening? Like, does this happen every day? Or like Sammy the Lightning Bug, who would be like, never fly your kite around power lines. And it's like, who's doing that?
One thing happened. It was in the newspaper. And one studio executive walked in and was like, we need to do something about this.
Yes.
We work in media. We have the power to change lives. We need to make sure no more children eat Tide Pods or get into refrigerators. Oh my God. Apaches is it's on YouTube. It would make a great little lead in to the others. All I'm saying. If you want to watch children die on pitchforks,
of course I do.
Funny, when I just saw Country early on in the movie, they're harvesting and there's a tornado coming, and Jessica Lange and Sam Shepard's kid is in a giant wagon, shoveling corn as it comes in, and it tips over, and he's like drowning under the corn, which is like a very real Midwest fear, like dying in a silo full of corn or something.
Oh my God!
It was so harrowing. And it wasn't
also happens in Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. Someone drowns in corn.
Yes. It's a horrible way to go.
Yeah. I really loved all of the freak show stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
Guillermo
del Toro has seen this movie.
For sure.
Yeah. That's something I completely remembered as, from watching it from when I was little, like the hydrocephalic baby in the jar.
Yes.
That like stayed with me. And then, as you alluded to earlier, everything that happens is somehow used later on. So like when John Ritter's baby goes missing and is replaced by that doll, they find the baby in a barrel, and you don't see it, but you see everyone's reaction to it when they
see like an overhead shot where you kind of see the top of the baby's head bobbing in the barrel, which is super fucked up. But we get like a callback to the Magician's Act.
Yep.
Frequently from that carnival too, like
when he kills the neighbor lady, Mrs. Rowe, by giving her a heart attack by showing the rat, that outfit he's wearing, he's dressed up as a magician with like a penciled in mustache, is really freaky, like really frightening. Kids are scary.
I find the yellow face magician pretty frightening. Just by himself. There's something
Yeah.
about it that's really weird. Not just that it's racist, but like
He was also
I
like
don't know.
silent and miming all of his stuff too.
And
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
his assistant is very disinterested. It is
Right. She's like really phoning it in. I love her.
Yeah.
And kind of like the whole freak show is kind of giving that energy. Like they do this 50 times a day, which I'm sure they did. But yeah, they use like real quote unquote freaks in this, which I always love.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
that scene where the kid is backstage in the tent, and the participants of the carnival are just sitting around, waiting to go on stage or something. It was, I don't know, the mood that it set was really well done.
Yeah.
There's so many like tiny small gestures and moments like that in this movie that are like upsetting and unnerving in like really small like tiny human ways like that like add to the like uncomfortable nature of this movie. When he sneaks into the tent because Holland like rushes in there before him, he's carrying cotton candy and he has to sneak under the tent, and the cotton candy gets so close to the ground and then touches it, and you're like, ah, and the kid finally just throws it away. And when he like goes to see the old neighbor lady, he like knocks on the door, hands her the preserves, apologizes, and she's like, okay, and then bye. And then he's like, can I come in? And she's just I guess. That's so if a child came to my door and then said, can I come inside, I would freak out.
But what a pussy she is. She dies of a heart attack because she sees a rat. Like, what kind of farm woman is she?
Well, did she fall off the stool she was sitting on?
I guess so. I guess arguably so.
We don't see, they imply that it's a heart attack, but it's also implied that it's a little, but I do also love, to what we've been saying about the way the movie kind of builds, that she dies off screen, and then it just seems from our perspective that she sees the rat, she screams, and then we cut to the next scene. It doesn't seem like a big deal at all.
Right.
And then all the neighbors are like, we haven't seen Miss Rowe around. And the like
Smells bad in
vegetable
there.
man is like, she hasn't been buying vegetables, and not to speak ill of her, but she's not a good housekeeper. The smell over there is pretty bad. It
All
takes
I'm
them,
saying
like,
is
days to find it.
yeah, because no one liked her. And that's what happens when no one likes you. You rot in your house when you die.
What's also interesting is after the baby died, instead of like putting all these things together, they go and blame the Italian immigrant played by Victor French, and which I found not odd given all of the the time and everything, but it was like, how have they not noticed like everyone in this town has been dying under mysterious circumstances long before that?
Every single time in this movie that someone falls down the stairs and is injured, or the hearse needs to be called for a child, or they find a body in a house, every single time that happened, they're always like, call the constable, we need to let them know. And I'm like, oh no, another unfortunate accident has befallen this small hamlet. What a coincidence. Yeah. But also that kind of was, to a degree, farm life in the Depression.
True. And blaming immigrants is like a national pastime.
Oh yeah, Americans love to do it. They still do it.
We're still doing it.
That did frustrate me at the end, because like the one person who fully knows what's going on and has the faculties to do something about it, and like has seen like the connective tissue of how it all happened, literally walks past the Italian man being drug away by a mob to essentially lynch him, and is like, no, I'm doing this on my own. And it's like, you stop that. You immigrant person, don't let them persecute other immigrant person. What the fuck?
She really is complicit.
Yeah, she is. I really love every sequence with the game, which I already discussed, but I love him jumping into the magician's consciousness to like see how he does the trick. It's a really great setup for that concept. Yep. I love when he's inside the bird. I really loved when, his grandma is telling him like, you've got to reconcile with the truth that your brother is dead. And she makes him go inside his dead brother's body, which is inside of a coffin. That sequence really got under my skin.
It was really disturbing, as is the sequence where he cuts off his dead brother's finger, which he keeps and shows throughout the movie to get the ring that was on it.
Yeah.
The
His brother.
he had like the revelation that, oh, the thing he's been carrying around this whole time is his finger, and you kind of like, oh my god, is that his dad's finger or something? And then nope, it's his brother's. He chopped off his brother's finger. Oh my god.
I really want to read the novel now because I feel it feels like a novel, the movie,
Mhm.
and I would be willing to bet that the novel is better. I mean, I really like this movie, but I just feel like
I remember
it's better
liking it
suited.
very much, but again, it's been almost 50 years since I read it. It's if I recall, it definitely captures that farm town feel.
Hmm. I really appreciate that. I love that pastoral kind of horror. I mean, I love folk horror in
We
general,
don't
which I
really
guess this
get
arguably is.
much kind of pastoral farmland, like growing up in the country and like this is what life is like as kids. And so much of like the early half of this movie is these kids running around and having fun. Even the kid that dies on the pitchfork, like who's kind of a shithead, like just like that exuberant nature of being a kid that lives in the country that all you have to do is like play and make up games and like just running around, and he like runs to the house and then he like has a conversation with some people and then he decides I'm going swimming and just runs outside again and like is grabbing cattails to like rip the like fur off and stuff like that. And I don't, there's not, first of all, yeah, speech about iPad kids, but like we don't like even making period stuff, we don't make stories about this time at all.
Well, it's interesting that they don't really touch the depression in this. I mean, this
Yeah.
family seems to be doing okay, other
They're
than it's two
doing
families sharing
quite
a
well.
farmhouse.
Like
Yeah.
at one point they have like a dinner spread that looks like it's Thanksgiving, but it's just like the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
And this is the same time period as Night of the Hunter is set.
Yeah.
yeah. I was
Stark contrast.
I was
Yeah.
kind of thinking about that during the movie. I was like, this is the same period as Night of the Hunter. This is the same period as Paper Moon. This is the same period as Nightmare Alley with the carnival
Carnival.
stuff. Like, you could see fucking like Moses Prey going up to knock on the door to sell them Bibles at one point and then run into Tyrone Power at the carnival. And like, it feels like it's absolutely a part of that world. But also, like, this family does seem pretty well off, though we never see them ever farming. Maybe
Right.
because
Well,
the
that
father's
Italian
dead.
does it, I guess.
Yeah.
I got the impression, especially because of the way Diana Muldaur, the mom, is just kind of languishing in bed, that they must have come from some sort of money. Because even
Yeah.
in non-depression days, she seems to be treated like, they had the money to allow her to languish.
And she languishes beautifully. She looks gorgeous.
She's
When
giving
she
Blanche
first walks
Dubois.
down the
She's giving Tennessee
stairs.
Williams.
Yeah.
That scene in the beginning where she comes down the stairs to talk to her kid and she's doing fine. And then there's just the shot, she looks over and it kind of, the camera zooms in on the well and you're like, okay.
Something about that well.
Yep. And then she just starts faltering. Her speech goes and she goes back upstairs to take to bed.
She's
Mhm.
incredible in this movie. Diana
She's
Muldaur is
great.
so much. She doesn't have a lot of screen time, but she makes
She
incredible
sucks
use
up what
of it.
she does.
She does so much with just facial expressions alone.
It's a bit campy in a one, or like not campy, like melodrama,
Yeah.
in a great way, I would say. And she's really beautiful. It does feel like a Tennessee Williams play whenever she's on screen.
It's the kind of character that Joan Crawford played a million times, but it's not
Yeah.
her story. It's the kid's story. So we need Diana Muldaur instead.
So speaking of the mom, the reason I didn't like Goodnight Mommy is, even though the cinematography was beautiful, from the get-go, from like the initial second the kids came on stage, I'm like, oh, one's dead. And it was, to me, so blatant that I thought the director wanted us to think that and go along with this ride. And
I
then,
thought that too.
And then there was this big reveal, and I'm like, wait, but this was obvious from moment one. Was anyone fooled watching this movie for a moment?
Yeah. I have to say I did feel that during this movie too, although I never felt like this director wanted us to know. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have that double trick on it, but I was like, one of these kids is dead.
It's pretty easy to pick up in this one, but I do feel like they do a pretty good job of like other people talk about Holland. Like you can play it either way for a while.
There is I read on the trivia section of the IMDb, you never see the two twins together in the same shot.
Yep.
Yeah. which is interesting because why not?
They did
You know what I
have,
mean?
yeah, it is two twin actors.
There's twins, so like,
Yeah.
I feel like that might have obscured the fact that one of them is dead a little bit better, maybe, but it is an interesting thing, and it's why I was like, well, one of them is dead.
We occasionally do see them in the same shot, but not the same frame. You'll see like
Yeah.
one over here and he runs off, and then the other one, yeah, or like you'll be
Yeah.
on one and I'll pan over to the other one. But yeah, never
Right.
they don't ever share the frame together,
Well, but
other
also,
than at the casket.
yeah, but the fact that they never share a scene with another actor, these two boys, was like, what did it for me? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
and you
anytime
see
he talks
Holland
to an
with other
adult,
people,
Holland's
but
not there.
that person then dies. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, it seemed fairly obvious, but I don't mind. It's a trope, and I like tropes. So
Yeah.
who
And
cares?
again, it's not, I think partially because of the way the film is structured and that we get the reveal at the midpoint of the movie that is never truly trying to pull the wool over your eyes. I think it's trying to let you deal with the child's like mental state and like see the world through his eyes.
Mhm.
I feel like if you watch it as a kid, you would absolutely be fooled.
I was.
And I think that's what the movie's doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely was. Yeah, you're right. It was very hard to find this film. This is only for this watch. It's only the third time I saw it. I saw it back in the 70s, and I saw it once again, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Again, I think on YouTube or something. It's like impossible to find.
It's impossible. Well, it was made by Fox, released by Fox. It had a DVD from Fox and then a Blu-ray from a third-party company called Twilight Time. That company no longer exists. Fox is now owned by Disney, and the other is in the Disney Vault. This is the kind of the movie that should be like restored and put out by Vinegar Syndrome and be on like Shudder all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
However,
Fox
that
is so evil.
case.
I mean, they had to carve out a special deal for the Rocky Horror Picture Show to keep doing, screenings of that everywhere. But a lot of those titles, it's going to be really hard to go see a repertory screening of some major Fox titles like Alien. There's a ton of them that you don't think of as
keep
like
in
Fox
mind,
titles.
in America, Fox, now Disney, owns the theatrical rights to Suspiria.
Right.
And Inferno. Yeah. It's and also like David Cronenberg's Naked Lunch, like Myra Breckenridge, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Like there's a lot of
Is
movies.
Helena Marcos a Disney princess?
Technically, yes.
Is Myra Breckenridge a Disney princess?
Anything else to say about this before we move on?
I definitely think it's worth searching out if you're not familiar with it, not aware of it. A lot of people have been discovering it recently as like a deep brain memory from the era that it played on TV. And I think it holds up beautifully. I think it's infinitely better than contemporary movies like Goodnight Mommy. And I think if you're a fan of that kind of slow burn 70s horror like you are, Josh, like it's a kind of missing piece of the puzzle that like really needs to be rediscovered. And the fuckers at Disney let it out of the goddamn vault.
Agree. Steve, anything else to say?
No, it was a great thing to have seen then, and I think it holds up really well. And it's just very evocative of the mood and the time that it came out.
Agree. Let's move on to play our favorite game, Have They Seen It? The game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. I'm actually thinking of next week's movie, which I won't say now, but somebody who's involved in that movie tangentially. Do you think that Barbra Streisand ever saw this movie in the 70s?
I think the only way she would have seen it is, she was killing time at home after a long day on the shoot, and it popped up on the CBS movie of the week, and it was on in the background.
I agree. That sounds right. Oh, I have a better one. This is a student. This is a student of Uta Hagen, but used her method. Didn't train directly under her, as far as I know. But he's somebody that I'm sure you love. I'm speaking for you because I know in advance that you love this person too, Steve. Do you think Hal Holbrook ever saw this?
I do love Hal Holbrook.
I do too.
Famous user of the Uta Hagen method of acting.
I don't know how many people who studied under Uta Hagen. I mean, she didn't do a whole lot of movies. Like, I'm sure they all went out and saw her plays.
Yeah.
I don't know
Mother
how.
Courage, etc.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how much they would have sought out her movies. So
Okay.
maybe not.
Okay.
Hal Holbrook ended up doing a lot of great horror movies. I think he's seen the other.
Okay.
I think he studied under her, and I think at a certain point when he was approached to do some horror movies, I think he met with
He's
her.
like,
And he was
Uta
like,
Hagen did one.
yeah,
Why
should I
can't
do it? Uta Hagen was in the other. Like,
I have one.
Yeah.
So John Ritter was in a TV sitcom with someone who would later on go do a Rob Zombie film. Do you think Priscilla Barnes has seen the other?
I love Priscilla Barnes so much. I love Three's Company so much. I think, yeah.
I think so too. And this is the only time I'm ever going to get to say this, but I did have 3 pet ducks when I was little on the farm, and their names were Janet, Jack, and Chrissy because of Three's Company.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think Priscilla Barnes has seen this.
Okay.
Priscilla Barnes is awesome.
Yeah.
She is awesome.
And from Indiana.
Hoosiers.
We get the job done.
You, Mike Pence, and Joel.
No, don't let me in with that, man. Don't let me in with Joel.
Carmel, Indiana's favorite children.
Speaking of favorite children and Mike Pence, I was thinking of another Killer Kid movie that we've talked about on this podcast recently, Josh, which of course is the like Citizen Kane of this genre, The Bad Seed. Do you think the Bad Seed herself, Patty McCormick, who is still alive and still acting and still doing Bad Seed spin-off movies, do you think Patty McCormick has seen the other?
See, this could go either way, right? She could either be like, oh, I don't like that genre. Like, we did it the best and no one else can really touch it. Or she's like a completionist and sees like she's seen The Good Son and, The Orphan and everything. I feel like it might be the latter. It seems like she has a good sense of humor.
Yeah. I would agree.
I feel like she would have seen this. I feel like, you know what? I feel like the 2 like twin kids from this movie probably got a letter from Patty McCormick after this movie came out, gushing over their performance, and then their parents probably had to explain who that letter was from.
This is the only movie they ever did.
They're great. Yeah, they're very good. Like, I don't know, it's being with Uta Hagen the whole time helps, but like, they're great.
Do you think that those kids with the letter received a signed headshot of Patty McCormick? And on top of that, do you think she sent 2, one for each of them?
If she did send 2. But my question is, do you think she sent a contemporary headshot or a headshot from the Bad Seed?
I bet to this day, in the year of our Lord 2024, she sends out black and white Rhoda aged headshots
with the pigtails.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yes. In fact, I would.
I really wish we could get the like Killer Kid movies need to be a bigger subgenre. They're great. They're fabulous. We need the Killer Kid cinematic universe. We need to pitch Rhoda against Holland. We need Rhoda and Niles in a movie together. And like Rhoda gets sent to a farm for like after the events of the Bad Seed just to deal with her, and she runs into this kid who's living it up on the farm with all these dead people around him, and the bodies start dropping. Listen, studios. You want IP? Let's shove 2 of them together.
That's it for this episode of Bloodhaus. Please rate it wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram at BloodhousePod or email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. Steve, where can people follow you? I'll put your things in the show notes too. But.
The best place would be Blue Sky at S. Kleinedler. You'll have the spelling in the notes. And also horror filmmakers, you've got, at the time this airs, 3 weeks to put in a submission for the Salem Horror Fest, which you can find on Film Freeway. But yeah, for me personally, Blue Sky is the best place.
Blue Sky's really popping off all of a sudden.
This past week has been bonkers.
It feels great compared to Twitter too, because the ethos is just like block. If someone annoys you, block them indiscriminately. Block.
Block
And
this.
it's great. Drusilla, you should get on.
I honestly, so many people have hopped on lately that I'm kind of like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Might be time for me to do it.
Well, where can people find you in the meantime?
Not Blue Sky, apparently.
Not Blue
but you can
Sky
find
yet.
my website, sisterhydedesign.com, with all my work over there. You can find me on Letterboxd. If you look for Sister Hyde or Drusilla Adeline, you can find me. And again, my like anxiety, depression, comfort watch of the 40s RKO murder mystery series, The Falcon, with George Sanders, and now I'm onto the Tom Conway ones, his brother. So we've moved on. I'm deep into this now. You can follow along with that journey there. And you can also follow me on Instagram, one of the original old 3 of social media. You can look for Sister Hyde. I'm on there. What about you, Josh? How can people find you and your other?
I am at Joshua Conkel on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today I saw a list of like all of the most downloaded apps for the week, and Blue Sky was number 1, and number 2 was MILF Messenger, and then Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I love that MILF Messenger is also popping up. You can't find me there yet, but maybe soon.
I'm sure you can find Uda Hagen on MILF.
Yeah, find Uda Hagen's guest on MILF Messenger. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. What a privilege and honor, and thank you so much for bringing this beautiful movie to us.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine. I really am a huge fan of the podcast, and this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Drusilla, we're watching one of my favorites next week. What is it?
Yes. Josh, you are going to be a prisoner to this movie because it is an absolute classic that you deeply adore. It is high fashion. It is supernatural. It is suspense. It is John Carpenter, but not like that. It is Brad Dourif, maybe at his sexiest. It is Raul Julia, but only known as RJ. And it is one of the most stylish movies of all time, starring one of the biggest screen goddesses of all time. It is Faye Dunaway looking through the eyes of Laura Mars.
Ugh, can't wait.
Speaking of iconic 70s fonts, let's go.
Can't wait. Bye.
Bye.